All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back today, and we are playing more Call of Cthulhu. We are continuing our Eternal Lies campaign. We have started up a new location. We are in Bangkok. We are down a player. My Trey was talking a lot of shit this week, so I said, you know what? You're benched for the weekend. And so that's what's happening.
I'm out.
That's what's happening. And then she objected, and so I said, you know what? You're benched for Monday too. So she's gone. She's gone. We'll see her maybe next Saturday. Maybe. I don't know for sure, though. We'll see how it goes. You know how she gets.
Happy Thanksgiving, Marjorie.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy fake Thanksgiving. Happy second best Thanksgiving. But yeah, we're down, Marjorie. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue because no one important is in terrible danger and is probably gonna die right now. No one. It's pretty fascinating how fast it was that you guys just immediately got into trouble. Like it's really interesting. So.
You remember Mexico City, right? I think we were
just getting faster and faster.
It is.
When you go to the next
our
place,
speed run strats.
Yeah. The next place, if you guys got to go to Malta or Ethiopia or whatever, the next place you guys go, you're not even going to get off the plane. They're just going to be like right there in the airplane, just firing up at you. Like, we know how this goes. Anyhow. Yeah, but anyhow, we're back. We're going to see how it goes. It was an interesting start. We saw Will almost get his ass kicked at one point, and then we got to Bangkok and things kind of smoothed out a little bit. But have you all reviewed the various clues and notes and things that you have?
Of course.
How many of you take notes? How many of you actually take notes? I'm thinking of stopping doing it. I'm thinking of stopping because I've been doing summaries and all sorts of, like, I do a lot of organization for everybody. I've been thinking of quitting it. You know, I throw out summaries like all the time. So I'm thinking of quitting it. I'm like, you know what?
I got a steel trap. I'd be okay.
You don't.
Melissa and I could tap in and do summaries.
If you stop, I would know like nothing probably.
Exactly. Yeah. See, like, pretty sure that's what happened. That's what happened. I appreciate the honesty.
Long and I are both very confident about our answers, though. Just on opposite sides of the spectrum.
The thing is, I think Long is accurate. Yours is just absolutely not. I have to be careful with them because I don't want to because I think one of the dangers of doing like a GM focused summary is that sometimes I want to avoid putting emphasis on things and give you all the wrong sense of things. I try to as best I can just to make it like, this is what happened. Here's a joke why Steven's stupid. And that's the summary. Like, that's basically what I try to do.
I was about to say, there are some moments you emphasize a lot, especially when they reflect upon a mistake I made.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I try to, yeah. So anyhow, we'll see. But yeah, there's so much. We are on, I think this is what, episode 32? 32? Mm-hmm. So
32?
This is our longest episode running campaign we have going right now, but not by calendar date. Delta Green goes back to July, but doesn't have quite as many episodes because it's an every other week game. We've missed a few. But Call of Cthulhu being every week, we've caught up in terms of episodes, but not in terms of like calendar date. So, all right. We ready to start?
We are.
Ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Are you sure?
What game are we playing?
Delta Green, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We are in Bangkok and Delta Green. All just flows together. Okay, last time around, we started off in Casablanca, where your pilot friend Frank Kearns introduced you all to an old friend of his by the name of Will Sawyer. You spent the night drinking, dancing, and bonding at Les Petits Poussets. And at one point, Will, you were confronted by a trio of French foreign legionnaires who called you a deserter, a coward, a rat. Ultimately, cooler heads did prevail, but you did throw out one final glib comment that got you punched in the stomach by the French captain, but ultimately it didn't really get worse than that. Back at the Hotel Excelsior where you all were staying, Will, you also had a very strange moment where you saw Frank, your friend Frank, step into a room filled with tongues and teeth and gore, and it just seemed completely oblivious to it. You tried to charge in to help him, but the door slammed shut right in front of you. And then you found yourself once more in the hallway, and you broke that door down. And when you got inside, you realized it was morning. Frank was fine, and he immediately regretted bringing you on board. See, that's the joke right there. That's the dig at Steven.
He had two of them. Okay. He had the sore abdomen, and then he regretted
No. Sore abdomen is a statement of fact. You did get punched in the stomach. Okay. Frank regretting it is the dig. Okay. Eventually, you all boarded the Silver Lance, which is the name of the plane, and you continue your travel. A few days later, you eventually ended in Siam. You hired a car to get into Bangkok specifically. You talked to the group into getting rooms at the Oriental, which is a very luxurious hotel, caters more to the wealthy folk. Once you got settled, you started debating whether or not to go visit this address you had for Daniel Lohman or try to find this fragrant honey shop, which was in but all you had for that one was a district. You actually had an address for Lohman. So you started there. It was a townhouse, well-to-do district, not too far away from your hotel, in fact. But Lohman didn't appear to be home. And a pair of dock workers at one point came up, started banging on the door, and left when no one answered. Will, Patrick, Marie, you decided ultimately to break into the townhouse. You found it very neat, very tidy. Looked like it was only him living there. Downstairs, Marie, you discovered a bunch of currency. Baht is I think it's BAHT. It's the local currency. Hundreds, thousands, quite a bit. You weren't entirely sure how much, but there were a lot of rolls. Patrick, you found a copy of the De La Luz album, just one, not the full, I think 30 copies that were on the shipping label. Upstairs, Will, you found some correspondence between Lohman and someone in Savannah, and that was describing the rest of the investigators, your newfound friends. And then in the master bedroom where you all converged, you found a large case filled with vials of nectar. Some of those vials looked very familiar. They were wrapped in like an LA shipping label. Others had a Thai stamp. And then there were other fairly extravagant, almost perfume-like bottles. And they had a note from someone by the name of Sawitri, or Savitri. I'm not sure if it's a V or W. Maestro and I aren't sure. Sirakan. And you've also seen the initials SS before. And so you're able to kind of start making some connections there. While watching out front, Bev, you spotted a Caucasian man who was walking to the townhouse door as you were keeping lookout from the front, and then Shimo was keeping lookout from the back. So you intercepted this man, distracted him. He called himself Daniel. What was the name you gave? Sandy? I don't know.
No, it was
Maggie.
Nope.
Oh,
it was
dear.
with a C. Cheryl, I think.
Cheryl? Karen?
It was Cheryl.
Cheryl. Okay. And then you were asking about like tourist spots. And so he quickly offered to show you around town. And the two of you strolled off together, arm in arm, because he offered you his arm and you took it. Okay. So we all up to date? We ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
We're so ready.
Let's get a little music going.
We're stealing stuff. We are oblivious and just thieving.
Everything's going to be fine.
I love that you're willing to like break the actual boxes of stuff, but then you don't want to take all the money. Like, we left a mark that we've broken in, but we're not going to take all the money.
Well, when Marie didn't take the money, there had been no marks left to her knowledge.
Oh, true.
When she saw the money, we were really.
So now we're going back for the money.
Okay, so we're back in scene. We're in Bangkok. We're specifically in I think it's called the Bang Rak district, which is fairly centralized. And we're going to start with Bev. So Bev, you got arm in arm with a man that you're not sure, by the way. I would say Bev isn't 100% sure, probably can suspect this, but you don't have perfect knowledge on this, but you'll probably conclude who this might be. But he did introduce himself as Daniel, and so by that alone is probably enough to kind of, that they're somehow involved, right? But kind of leads you away. And they're very kind, and he's like, so how long have you been in Siam? How long have you been in Bangkok?
Not long at all. I've been studying Thai, and I figured it would be best for me to come out here to get practiced.
Oh, of course. And then he kind of throws out some words. He's like, most of my friends here don't even call me Daniel. They call me YN. And he kind of points up at his big pair of glasses. But give it a try. And he kind of like almost condescendingly, like slowly pronounces.
Yeah.
And like, okay. And then he starts pointing out to some things here and there. And at this point, you can't see the townhouse anymore. You've like taken a few turns and such here and there. He's pointed at this cafe, or he's pointed at that cafe, this little shop. He points over here and he's like, Like he shows you this cathedral. It's a Roman. It kind of gives you like this brief walking tour. Like this, it's called Assumption Cathedral. It's this Roman Catholic cathedral near the area. And this whole time, like he's just kind of been very friendly, honestly, a little condescending, but very friendly overall. But he's also asking you questions. And so, whoa, what made you want to speak Thai? Why Thai? It's a curious choice.
Interest in languages, and I had just kind of I had a world map, and I just kind of randomly pointed to a spot, and that just so happened to be here.
Well, that is fascinating, and that you have the resources to be able to just up and travel across the globe. Where is it you're from?
Boston.
Boston, that's right, Boston. Of course, the accent gives it away. It's barely hidden, but you do very well, excellent. While you're here, are you going to visit the university?
I didn't consider it, but that should probably be added to my list of things to do. That's wonderful.
I would walk you over, but that is a district over. Chulalongkorn. I have no idea if Jeff's pronouncing it correctly. That's the best I'm doing. I'm trying. But Chulalongkorn University. It's over in the Patamwan district. Yes. Tomorrow, perhaps we can meet up in the morning. I can show you the greater parts of the city if you're interested.
That would be lovely.
Oh, wonderful. And while you're walking, and again, he's just sort of pointing out random things, places he goes, where he gets his groceries, where he kind of goes to get his like morning tea and stuff like that. And then occasionally like an actual tourist venue, like the cathedral. Then he shows you like this is like the river city, and you can see it's like this trading market along the Chapraya River. And then at one point you hear the sounds of like not screaming, but like people arguing with one another. You look down and you can see these pair of kids are in the dirt just down the alleyway, and they're just beating the crap out of each other. You can see they're physically fighting, and he just goes, it's such a shame. Stop it, young boys! And he kind of snaps his other finger, his other hand, and then they kind of look up at him at that point, and they've got like blood coming down from a nose. One of them's got like a black eye. And you can see they just like bolt away. Such a shame. Anyhow, and the embassies. Have you been to the embassies yet? And he just seems to immediately move away from what he just saw. And he's just like, the embassies. Have you seen those?
I haven't. You must be a pillar of this community if those kids recognize you so quickly.
Well, pillar is probably overstating it, but I've been here for a little bit of time. I've immersed myself into the local culture, you might say. Yes. But those children, I can't say I know them specifically, but one doesn't want to see young boys fighting like that. There's a better way forward, isn't there? Like, violence
Certainly.
Isn't the answer to everything, is it?
Definitely not.
I agree. And then he continues walking. He kind of points out like the French embassy in the distance, and he's like, oh my goodness, this is my favorite cafe in the neighborhood right here. Are you thirsty? Hungry? Would you like a bite? Some local cuisine? And you see like his eyes kind of light up behind his glasses.
Sure. I'd love to try your favorites.
My treat, of course. And he comes in and he kind of brings you inside of this small little like boutique cafe. You can hear the sounds of like people talking. There's a handful of other small little kind of bistro like tables. They're not very big. And there's definitely a larger like Siamese crowd, but you can see there's a handful of what you imagine are probably like expats, like, a foreign folk in the room here too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you allow me to do the ordering for you?
Oh, please.
And he like pulls a chair back to let you sit. One moment. And he kind of like scampers up all excitedly up to the counter, and you can see him like talking to whoever it is behind the counter, like putting in orders, things like that. And you can see they're gesturing hands left and right. And then after a couple moments, he comes back and he has this tray. He's got these two big, tall, iced glasses. You see these, some kind of tea over top of ice. And then you can see there's some kind of bread with some pork on it and stuff. And he just, I get this, every other day. Not every day, or else I would put on the pounds. And he's a very slender man. But he sits down and he kind of slides you your plate.
And she'll accept it and be like, so where do you prefer to start with this dish? And then as he eats, she'll kind of just follow his lead.
Yeah, and it's basically what you're looking at. It's so the drink is Cheyenne, which is basically like a sweet spiced tea over ice. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is like a pork toast, so you can kind of like pick it up and bite it, or you can, if you wanted to be more careful with it, you can probably rip it apart a little bit instead of lifting the whole thing up. But you can see he begins eating right away. Yeah,
and she'll just follow his lead.
Okay.
And be like, this is delicious. No wonder you have it.
It's just a small little hole in the wall. No one quite. It's one of those places that you have to be immersed in the community to really know it's here.
Yeah.
But I keep trying to talk to the proprietor and say, bigger signs, sandwich boards on the sidewalks, something to get more publicity, flyers perhaps. And he says, no. Word of mouth, YN. Word of mouth will do much better. And then he kind of takes this gulp of the tea.
And Beverly just kind of nods and gives him a polite smile. I'm really lucky that I found you.
I am lucky to have found you. It's wonderful. A new friend. I didn't. What an auspicious day. What an auspicious day indeed. And
yes.
You can see like the sun is going down outside. It's like evening, but the sun's still up. And we're going to fade from there. And we're going to go back to the townhouse. And we're going to be inside where we see Will and Marie and Patrick, the three of you. You are inside the master bedroom. There hasn't been any communication. You guys didn't, like you said something about like bird calls, but there wasn't any real official communication thing that we actually did. And so as far as you're concerned, you didn't hear a key in the door. You didn't hear like a door opening. You've got all the time in the world. But you are specifically inside of the master bedroom. And you have like on top of the bed, there is this opened wooden box. This like it's like a suitcase basically. And then you can see the vials are all scattered about. So what do the three of you do next?
After opening the box, I'll inspect each vial of nectar. Yeah, this is the stuff. I take a noticeably long gulp. Get that feeling of like the last sensations I had this. And I'll pocket a couple samples.
You ingest some?
No, not just some. Just
take some.
I just remember
remove.
You took a big gulp. So I was thinking gulp like you.
Yeah, I'm not gulping the drug, but
that's what I was thinking.
Gulp is in nervousness. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And so you take some of them?
Yeah, one of each.
One of each. Okay. Fair enough. And
I
there
think
are
we should
some.
Take the whole box, and I close it up, and I just put it under my arm.
Okay.
There's no reason to leave this here. It's just going to help them more.
You're right. But this is what we need. Anything else on here?
What Marie would like to look around for is if there's any like photographs of any people here.
No. Yeah, there has been a distinct lack of that in the entire apartment. You haven't really seen anything, no family photos, no friend photos. There's some decoration, but most of the decoration, it does seem like maybe local artists and such, like making a mask here, a decorative mask, or you can see a painting perhaps, but nothing out of the ordinary, like a painting of the ocean at sunset, that kind of thing. But you don't see anything that suggests personal, like a personal touch.
Okay. And at this point, we've gone through all the rooms.
You've been through all the rooms. I think.
And I would tell them that I found some paperwork and stuff in the office, and that I would share it with them after we get out.
Okay. All right.
Yes, we should definitely review all of that quite carefully later.
Okay. So, if that's the case, do you leave?
I think so. Don't want to linger too long.
Okay.
Lucky nobody came by. Let's get out of here.
Yes, I haven't heard any any bird calls, everything must be okay outside.
Just point of order, the money. What was the final call on that? I know there's like some back and forth on what to do with it.
I don't think Will even knows about the money yet.
Well, since we're taking the samples, nice wad of cash if you want that too.
I open up the box and, like, let him throw it in if he wants.
I'll toss the remainder of it.
Okay,
inside.
so
we're taking all the money, not just a third.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, are we taking all of it, or are you taking just like a portion of it? Because I think you had taken a portion of it, but I wasn't sure.
Originally, but we're gonna rinse them clean.
Okay.
All
right.
Good call, Patrick.
Then the only other thing of note that you all discovered, other than what Will has already taken, the correspondence, was the copy of the De La Luz album that you found inside of the trunk in the living room with the turntable. It was just the one, and there were other albums in there, but it wasn't like the full shipping box of the De La Luz album. It's just one. Do you do anything with that?
Does it look different than albums we've already collected?
Mm-mm.
Well, then it's your call. I don't think Will would know enough about it to decide if it's important or not.
I wouldn't take it.
Okay.
I don't see the reason. I've been able to find these in record stores, some places. In and of itself, the music is...
Okay. So we're leaving behind the key piece of evidence that'll break the case and we don't know it.
They talking about Will. You don't know any of this.
Okay, so you take the cash, you take the nectar, you leave the record, and then you go out the front door.
We also took the correspondence from the office.
And the correspondence, yeah, of course.
Marie's going to change her mind at the last minute and go and take the record and throw it in the box with the rest of the stuff.
I was just teasing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And we go out the back door, which is the way we came in.
Okay, and so as you go out the back door, you will see there is Shaima trying to crouch down behind some trash cans, but she's so like big that you can kind of still see her, but she's trying to be like really stealthy, and she looks up, cuckoo, cuckoo, as she tries to make a bird sound to give you guys an indication of where she's at.
I thought we were going to do the whippoorwill sound. I'm looking to Patrick and Marie.
All's good inside. Anything out here?
Emma, did something happen?
No one. No one came by. Some people walked past, but they didn't see me. Nothing.
Why'd you do the bird song then? That was the warning.
I was hiding. I didn't know if you could see me.
Oh, okay.
We could actually see you. Just so you know, we could actually.
Her shoulders kind of slump a little bit as like it just hits her confidence a little bit, and she gets a little sulky, and like you can tell she gets a little reserved, and now doesn't really talk as much. That did it.
I can
right there.
literally hear my Trey saying, "Oh."
It's okay though. It doesn't seem that you've been seen.
I'll try.
And
I'll try better next time.
We'll show you. We found a lot, and I think we may actually be able to afford where we're staying now. And she'll sort of wink at China.
She'll say, "You stole from him?"
It's more a process of liberation.
Isn't that a crime?
No.
You broke in to a man's home and you stole his money?
It's not theft if he's already a criminal.
But
that's why it's
he's
liberation.
A criminal?
It doesn't rightfully belong to him. Yeah, that's what this whole investigation is about.
But
maybe
when criminals have money, it's not necessarily their money. What if he got the money from something that wasn't related to his crimes?
He still profited from the crimes, and those profits deserve to go towards good, which is what we're going to spend it on, doing good.
And then she's just like, I wish Pastor Wood was here. And then she just kind of resigns herself once more.
Oh.
That was her moral compass.
We should go. we should go around front and let Bev know that we're out safe.
Okay. So the four of you go around to the front of the
So look for
townhouse.
Bev.
At this point, you could barely see the sun anymore between some of the buildings and such in the distance to the west, like over the river, and it's getting darker. And you look around and you cannot see Bev. You look over by the little cafe where she was sitting, nothing there. You look out front where some of the seating, like there's like this like kind of garden style seating in front of some of these townhouses. You don't see her. Does not appear as though Dr. Key is here.
I would try to ask one of the wait staff of the cafe that Key was at if they saw where she went.
Do you
and I
speak
speak
Thai?
American, and I speak American French.
Okay. Roll a luck test.
All right. Luck is at 70 right now.
Okay.
So 45. That's a success.
Okay, so I'll say the person that you try to talk to, and you do the American thing of just talking louder when it seems at first they don't understand you. Then you switch over to French. They do seem to know a little French, and between that, you manage a description of Dr. Key as best you can, and the waiter is just like they left with and kind of points at you and like points at Patrick and then points at you and then points at Patrick with one of you.
With us? No, we weren't with her.
With a gentleman? She left with a gentleman?
And she
That
like
looks
kind of
like
nods. Yeah.
Like a foreigner, like us.
Foreigner. And it's like that was the word. She couldn't quite find that word, and so she repeats it. Yes.
Thank you. And Marie just sort of looks to everyone else, eyes wide.
Did our driver come get her? Maybe she's over there.
Are there many foreigners that live on this street? Are there many foreigners that live on this
She says some.
We know of at least one. Did you see which way she went?
And she just kind of points vaguely down the street. That way? I'm very busy.
And I just look at the group and start walking backwards the direction she points and turn around and start going, like looking for Bev.
Marie will give a small tip. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You pull out the wad of local bills that you have?
No.
That's the local cash you've got.
Well, we had done a little bit of money exchanging.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because I said you
Money
could have.
changers.
None of you even thought of the idea. I just gave it to you freely because I'm a kind
Well, I wasn't
soul.
planning on
Yeah.
paying for anything.
I do. Just a little bit.
Okay, no, fair enough. You give her a tip. No issues. Okay.
Why? And so Marie just sort of turns to the rest. Why would she leave? She was a lookout. Why would she leave?
She saw something that she wanted to look at.
This is very concerning. Very concerning.
So, the three of you, go ahead and roll spot hidden.
Oh, this makes me sad.
Because
You
your
had
spot
such
hidden
good
was
spot hidden.
so high. Yeah, if only Pastor Wood was here.
56, right on the dot.
Oh, look at you.
I got a hard success still. 17 under 45.
17 under 45. Okay. And then
I-
Marie.
I rolled a 19. I'm going to spend the 5 luck to make it an extreme success.
Oh, wow. Okay. All three of you notice a vehicle, and there's not that many on this street. A vehicle pulls up in front of the townhouse that you just vacated. And you can see getting out are a handful of these, they're definitely local, but you can tell that they have a kind of a tough look to them, right? Like you can see I'll say those of you who have a hard or an extreme success, you can see like they've got looks like bats or some sort of club or something like that, like trying to be tucked underneath their clothing here and there. But you can kind of see it. You also see they have those of you with hard or extreme successes. You can see that they also have some scars, like bruises, cuts, etc. Quite a few of them, in fact. And then with an extreme success, Marie, I would also give you that you see one of them at least has a tattoo that looks very, very familiar, or looks not unlike the tattoo you saw in Savannah. And you see there's 4 of them in total. You can see one of them is staying in the car, and the 3 of them are getting out. One of them is going around the back of the townhouse, and then you can see, actually 2 of them are going around back of the townhouse. And then you can see one is like at the front door and is like right next to it and is kind of listening in. And then there's the one by the car, like gets out of the car and is still waiting by the car. What do you guys do?
Perhaps we should see how this unfolds as well. We still need to look for Key. Split up?
No, we gotta hide. If Marie says they're tattooed, they might recognize us.
Won't recognize me.
That's true. You're probably the
I
best to
hand
get a
Patrick
closer look.
the wooden luggage.
Okay. So is that the plan then? Patrick and Marie and Shimer are going to hide?
Yeah, I'm taking cover.
Okay. So you're going to try to like
Yes.
hide, like just kind of disappear into the crowd in one of these shops or down an alley or something like that between them. Give me a stealth test.
Yeah.
I'll roll Shims.
Okay, for this one, I'm going to take a 10%. Thank you, audience. So this is a 50-50 at least. I rolled a 19 again.
Okay. Very good.
Got a hard success.
Success.
Okay. I'll say that your hard success is going to overcome the 98 that I just rolled for Shima, which because she has over 60 or over 50 is not actually a critical failure. It's just a regular failure. But I'll say that your hard success is enough as like she maybe just lags behind a bit and she's looking and she's like she's sticking out like a weed. She's so big, and everyone around her, especially like people sitting down at some of this like kind of sidewalk bistro area, cafe area, and you can see like some of the kind of the Siamese folk moving around on the sidewalk. She is just so much taller than everybody, and like Patrick, you just turn around and you see she's just like looking, and you just grab her and pull her into the alleyway. How did you do, Marie?
Also a hard success. I was just lamenting in chat that I spent an audience boost, but I could have improved myself had I not been greedy because I passed with the hard.
That's a shame. Okay. So the 3 of you managed to to quickly duck down this alley and hide. And you're pretty sure that they didn't see you. Will, are you lingering out in the open? What is it you're doing?
Yeah, I would probably go back to the same cafe and try to find a seat and just watch casually. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to hide, but I'm also not trying to just walk up to them.
Okay. So what you basically see over the next, say, 10 minutes, you see the person by the front door is just kind of waiting by the front door, and they've got like their hand underneath this sort of it looks like a vest, but you realize it's just a coat that's missing its sleeves, and they're just kind of hanging out, and they've got again this club tucked a little bit underneath that. There's one just kind of leaning out by the car, and then every now and then you can see a person walks past and kind of looks at them, and the person who is by the car just like that, like almost barks at them in some way, and they like kind of scurry away at that point. Eventually, you notice the front door open, and you see coming out are the 2 who had moved around out back, and you see this exchange. You can't hear it from where you're at. Do you have read lips, and can you speak Thai?
I can speak American, and I can speak American French.
Okay, that's basically
I have
the
a
same thing.
1 in read lips.
Okay, so you have no idea what they're saying to each other, but you just see like shakings of heads and like them holding up their arms and like as if they don't know. And then they kind of look back. They sort of look, looking. And at this point, they just kind of shrug and they get back in the car. And they start to drive away.
All right. I'd like to take a note. Would we have like license plates and stuff like that?
This vehicle does not have any legal plate of any kind on it. No, it's pretty beat up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it basically looks like a front cab, and there's like a flatbed. 2 of them are in front. 2 of them hop into like kind of the flatbed in the back. It's like a rudimentary truck
with the rest of the party hiding.
Okay.
Seems like they were looking for Daniel too.
He's a
they
popular
left
guy.
after they couldn't find him. They might have ransacked his house, but hopefully we found everything there was that was worth taking.
We must, if they've gone, we must go in the direction that Bev went.
Agreed. Let's go look for her.
So you start heading down the street once more. And at this point, I'm going to say sunset is over. It is now night. We're going to cut back over to Bev. Bev, you've been drinking, you've been eating. He's been asking all sorts of these questions that are seemingly innocent, things like that. But basically about you, about where you're from, about what your family does, all those types of things. How accurate, or how, I know you've given your name as Cheryl, but how much of the details that you provide are BS and how much of them are like legitimate?
She would have changed her career. And then, but like legitimate, she would have been reasonably open about like her family, because like her mom's passed, so she would have mentioned, that she doesn't have siblings.
Okay.
All
right, give me a fast talk. Yeah, give me a fast talk as you're just sort of BSing him a little bit, but not like overly so. And I'll say, because you're keeping some of it close to your personal biography, you can take a bonus die on it.
Okay. just so the audience is aware, my fast talk is a 5.
That is that's not good.
Okay.
You did 24 though.
24. I will spend the 19 luck, or I'm gonna do 22 luck to get a hard success.
Okay.
Or no, I would only have to spend
works.
23 for an extreme, so I'm gonna spend the 23.
Okay, you spend 23 extreme success, and he seems riveted. Honestly, he genuinely seems riveted by the conversation. When you talk about the fact that you lost your mother, he opens up about he lost his mother, and it becomes this kind of emotional bonding moment for him. And he starts telling you about his mom, and he starts telling you how, like, how he's basically like he went into politics, on his mother's behalf, because like she wanted him to be good, and so he kind of got into a job in the government, and he kind of gives you this little bit and piece, and the whole while you're drinking, you're finishing your bread and your pork toast, and he looks up to the street. Oh, wonderful! My friends are here. Over here, and he kind of waves, and you see coming into the cafe are these 3 hulking people. There's 2 men, one of which is relatively short, one of which is very tall, and then there's a woman who's somewhere in between, all of which are covered in welts and cuts and bruises, and like you can see their faces have like scars all over them, and 1 or 2 of them have tattoos that up close you realize is very familiar. Oh, wonderful. Everyone, this is my friend Cheryl. Her real name is Dr. Beverly Key, but she has come up with an absolutely wonderful cover story about Cheryl from Boston. It's quite amazing, to be honest with you. The truth is none of them can actually understand what I'm saying, so all I really have to tell them right now is to just take you into their vehicle. Now, if you don't struggle, they won't hurt you.
I'll leave.
No, I'm afraid, Cheryl. And that, again, very wonderful tale you've told. However, we've been made aware of you and your little group. and we've made preparations. You are here, I presume, to see how the sausage is made. Is that fair?
Yes. I thought you guys were breaking away though from Trammell and all of their influence.
Well, as I said, if you're interested in seeing how the sausage is made, the great news here is that my friends are going to give you a wonderful up-close and personal view of it. But it's been splendid talking with you. Really, it has. Honestly, trying to converse with these three is... it's a bit aggravating. So to have someone of your social skills has been... it's been wonderful. Anyhow, I'm going to go home. And don't worry, I made sure that another team has been sent to my townhouse. I presume running into one of the foremost suspects that's getting into the wrenches and mucking up the issues in Los Angeles outside of my townhouse couldn't possibly have been coincidence. So I assume that others are probably lingering. So don't worry. I'm sure you won't be alone in what is about to happen to you.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, me? Oh, my job here is done. I am going to deliver you over to the fine hands of Thawiotum, and he will show you... he will show you the labyrinth. He will show you the festivities. And... well... he will show you the end. Well, your end, at least. Now, don't worry, I'll take care of this. As he points to the plates and the drinks, and then you feel like a big, heavy hand come on like either of your shoulders, and it comes down your shoulder to your arm, and they grab you. What are you doing, Bev?
What would she do? I think, like, up until we get to the door, she's gonna try and act like she's gonna cooperate, and then she's gonna try and run.
Yeah, there's not really a door as much as there's just sort of like an opening, but that's fine. So we'll say two of them are kind of flanking you. One of them has their hand on your arm. He is back, like finishing his drink. He's not even following. Daniel Lohman is.
Yeah.
And then there's one out in front who kind of is like kind of pushing people left, and people are like as he pushes through this like small crowd, and they get out onto the street. Bev, describe how it is you're going to try to break away. We're going to make a very important roll.
How do I try and break away? So there's two people on either side of me. There's a person in front of me. Is there a person behind me?
Only Daniel, who's sitting down right now back in the restaurant.
So then she'll try and go backwards and then see if she can run out and around into a crowd.
Okay. Well, let's see if you can break away first. So as you try to break free from them and then you try to run away,
my worst
this is going to be a brawl test versus it's going to be contested versus their brawl. All right.
And he said if you take 5 audience dice, that counts as an automatic success.
That is not even remotely true. Okay.
Sorry, Ash, I tried.
Nice try. Definitely try. I gotta get up there. Gotta get up their stats. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll contested as you try to break away.
Okay, so I'm gonna take 2 boosts. So I'm shooting for a 45.
Okay. Go for it.
Oh my god, and I rolled a 75.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bev's not getting free.
You try to run and you try to like break free, and maybe you slip from the grasp of the one, but then the second one here very quickly and very, very swiftly cold cocks you right in the face, just poof, right across your jaw. as they kind of just slug you and then grab you by your hair and then drag you over to the car at this point and just shove you inside. And there's people in the area who are screaming, and then there's people who are running. One or two people actually get up to try to intervene on your behalf and are quickly like mollified or beaten down from some of these others. And you are in the back of this vehicle. A second, like the person who grabbed your hair slides in right after you. Like you feel like some of your hair has been ripped free. You've got like a welt on your face, and you are essentially trapped inside this car. As you look out the window, as you're kind of getting up, and the right side of your face is just suddenly like numb from it, and you can see like they've got a knife now in the back, and they're just holding it against you. No guns. You haven't seen a gun yet, but they do hold a knife. It's very crude, more like shiv, as opposed to like an actual knife. Okay. After a moment or two, you can see that the people who just tried to intervene on your behalf on the street get their asses beat, and then the rest of them, the two other thugs, hop into the car, and they start it up, and they start driving away. And it is a rough sound of the engine starting. We're going to cut from there. Will and Marie and Patrick, you guys want to do? You're looking?
I think Will would be looking for a half hour or so and then realize how futile it is, because there's a whole city and we don't know at any point Bev could have turned a road and we wouldn't know. So after about a half hour, he would be ready to call it and just head back to the hotel.
Okay. What about Marie and Patrick, who actually are friends with Bev?
Spend some of the night searching, listening to commotions, any sort of noise nearby.
Okay. Give me I'm gonna want two things. I want just sort of like a social check, just like as you're trying to interact with these people. So, and you can choose whatever you want. You can choose charm if you're trying to be really nice. You can choose like intimidate if you're just threatening people to tell you stuff. So it's whatever like flavor of you going around and talking to these people, or credit rating if you're just kind of bribing people as well. You could do that too. So whatever social skill you want to take. And so then we're probably going to do a luck test to see how long it takes for you to get answers.
And I would imagine Marie and Shima would probably be with Patrick doing the same thing.
I don't really like the professor anymore, so I'm not supposed to hang out with her. No, yeah, Shima. For sure.
I'll go with credit since a lot of money just came out, right?
Okay. All right. So you're just going to start pulling off bills. Now you're going to do it. You start pulling off okay. Fair enough.
Ooh, that's a 70 over 40.
Okay. You definitely get people who, when you hand over some bills, maybe you don't have a full understanding of like the currency, and so sometimes you're handing over stuff that seems not great, or maybe when you try to communicate what you want, it's unclear and they just thank you and they just walk away because it's like you were just giving them a gift. So it becomes a very difficult process. Then give me a luck test, and again, this is going to determine how long it takes you to learn anything. Oh man,
Even worse at 82.
Wow.
Yeah.
Struggling.
All right. Okay. So eventually, the three of you come across because Will has left and gone back to the hotel. The three of you are continuing to go and ask around. Night is fully come at this point. As you can see, the nightlife of this district has begun to come into play. It's not as lively as you remember the Bohemian district of Mexico City, but you can still see there's a very large population, people going out to dinner and some people going home. You can hear the sounds of music, you can hear the sounds of laughter. You can see like various locations along the side of the road and such like that, where there's certainly some level of conversation. Eventually, you find yourselves in front of a small little hole in the wall where you hear a story about 2 hours ago. There was a woman who got dragged out of this restaurant and a few folks beaten by a bunch of thugs who showed up, these ugly, angry thugs. and she was driven away in a car.
That woman 2 hours ago. Who was it? Who are the thugs?
If you give the description of Bev, she'll confirm it. And in terms of who the thugs are, they kind of shrug, like they describe them: scars, weapons, knives, clubs, that kind of thing. But they don't know them particularly.
Do you know where they went? The car.
They just point down the street, like in the direction it drove away.
All right, thanks a lot. And I'll follow the trail.
Okay. Marie, do you do anything?
Oh dear, this is not good. She was just supposed to be lookout. What? Oh, we just got here. We haven't even. Oh, and so Marie's just probably getting a little bit worked up, and then kind of looks over to Shaima and realizes she should probably stop being hysterical about this. And okay, I suppose we'll wander in that direction for a bit and see if we get lucky, and just look in alleys in the dark for this truck.
See how far the road takes us. There's any
Okay.
tracks.
Okay. So, if you're just wandering down the street and hoping to get lucky, I will tell you that you do not. You wander down the street, you look for, there are some vehicles here or there. At no point do you see Bev. At no point do you see anyone matching the descriptions. Like, the road goes on considerably. It's not like the road stops or anything like that. And there's plenty of other smaller roads and alleys that branch off from it that this car could have gone down at any point. Just seems as though you've lost her. Unless there's something more that you wanted to do.
Patrick, this just seems futile. It's a car in the dark in a big city.
No, you're right. Yeah, she's gotten herself in some trouble. If she shows up over here, some more word. We'll try tomorrow.
Shaima, we'll keep looking though. We'll go back through everything tonight and see what we can do. Let's go.
Okay.
Where the hell even are we? I'll try
That is it.
to find our way back to our tour guide. That's probably still waiting there.
Well, I'm pretty sure Will probably took your
To a nightclub somewhere.
Took your car to a nightclub somewhere.
That car, that's right.
I feel so bad because I feel like Ash's character just died, and like no one's doing it. Sorry, Ashley. Okay. Eventually, then you all, with the exception of Bev, make it back to the hotel. Will, you're there first. Shaima is beside herself with concern and is probably more than once kind of like had an outburst or two about just giving up. But obviously she'll listen to the adults, Marie and Patrick. And
Well, we don't know where she went. Clearly taken by someone. She wasn't taken back to Loman's house because we know they left there. Actually, she could have been taken back to Loman's house, but I doubt
She
it.
could have been. We didn't go back to his house. We could have.
We do have another lead, though, that very clearly has some sort of security because you need a passcode to get in.
What are you talking about?
Talking about the
Tea house.
little,
Oh, you're right. Just late at
So,
night.
well, perhaps not right now, but should we go back to Loman's?
I don't think we should go back to Loman's. He wouldn't bring her there. It was open. There was a lot of people watching. They wouldn't be able to get her in without someone seeing. I think if we try somewhere, we try for the tea house. What do you say, Patrick? You want to stay up late with me?
I am jet lagged. Better fix the sleep schedule. Might as well.
Marie? Shaima?
Well, and Marie sees that Shaima's just beside herself, and Shaima's not going to get any sleep anyway if we don't see what we can do. I suppose we'd go to all of the things that we know on day one, and okay. Do we think this is going to be open?
It's drugged in. It should be open all the time.
Loman's house wasn't open. That didn't stop us.
Right, you are.
It's a shot in the dark, but that's all we have.
So Marie would go downstairs because we did go back. Did we go back to the hotel? Yes, because we met up with Will.
hotel.
Okay.
That's what this conversation is happening, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. So Marie would ask at the front desk of the hotel how far away this district is, because we have a name of a district.
Yeah, it is Falnacron, I think it's called. Let me double check.
That sounds right to me. In my notes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Pranacon.
Okay. And so, so she would try to ask the front desk, like, how far away that district is from where we are.
It's to the southeast from where your hotel is. Not that far if you get a car. It's definitely not the thing that you would probably want to walk to, especially at this time of night. And you only asked about the district, right?
That was the first question, was how far away the district was, just to make sure that it wasn't.
Yeah, and
really
so they
far
would
away.
say they would recommend you hire a car, which
Okay.
they can arrange for you if you want. Once again,
Okay. And then I think she would just ask if they know anything about this honey shop, so the fragrant honey shop.
Okay.
And shot in the dark, it's not here, so they may know nothing about it. And
Roll a luck test.
okay.
I know you have very high luck, so maybe
You.
maybe Marie is getting, or have you used some today so far?
I used 5, so I still have a
Yeah,
lot
plenty
of
of-
luck. I rolled a 61 under 94.
So the person who's at the desk, this is much later at night. This is like the night crew. So it's not the same person you spoke with today. You get a local. They speak English much better than any of you speak Thai. And you definitely get this sense that when you mention the fragrant honey shop, they kind of recoil a little bit. But then they will kind of look at you. Why do you want to go? That's a very bad place. Very bad neighborhood. This is much better neighborhood where you're at. Stay here. Safer.
I see. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. Unfortunately, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Marie will sort of abruptly kind of end that conversation, and she'll sort of go back to Will and Patrick and Chima. So apparently Will, your instincts were likely correct that this is a kind of place that might be open late. It is apparently not a good place to be, not a good neighborhood.
Perfect. Sounds like our place.
Should I have to ask though, should we just perhaps contact the authorities that we are travelers and our traveling companion was abducted earlier today? We have a witness to that
Good.
abduction. Should we just tell the authorities?
You can go to the embassy. He'd probably help.
Yes, that is. Did we?
Wouldn't that
Yes.
take a lot of time?
We've got time to spare.
And wouldn't we also have to explain why someone would target her and why we think it might be at this tea shop?
I don't believe we do. We have witnesses that saw her taken.
Yeah, but they also would have no leads if we don't tell them about the tea shop or about Loman or anything like that. Let me put it this way. I barely trust the American government. So I know not to trust the French government, and it makes me very unlikely to trust the Siam government or the American embassy in Siam. I think we should just look for it ourselves. What's the worst that could happen?
Very, very bad things. Very, very bad things have happened to us already. In fact, Patrick, I
There's no
think
sense
your
in
idea
waiting
of
around, though.
the embassy is a good idea. I just don't. We've barely landed. We haven't even been here barely 24 hours yet.
They
Why
say
is it
every
first
minute
thing in the
counts
morning?
when someone goes missing.
Dr. Bev Key is missing right now, and spend our time sitting around not finding her. More dangerous he could be in. We can touch Shaiba. She can speak with the embassy.
Shaima has been like pacing around and fretting, and you can see she's like stretching and stuff, and she's like kicking things. She's very angry, and then like when she like at some point it's like all this talking, this isn't helping, and then she like hulks out for a second, and then she calms down.
We might need that. Come on with it.
Shaiba with a history of being good at talking with police, not telling them everything that's happened.
Oh,
Let's just take a
God.
look, and if things go wrong, then we'll go contact whatever proper authorities you think we should talk to.
Causeway.
There's always a good
Good.
plan B.
Okay, so you guys are gonna drive out to
To the
Piranha.
district, the fragrant tea shop.
Yeah, you want to go over to the Fragrant Honey Shop? Okay, we're gonna cut. I would like the three of you to please mute your audio or take your headphones out, please. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Looks like we're all good. All right, it's just me and you, Ashley. I'm sorry. I thought they gave a shit about your character a little bit more. I thought maybe they would go back to Dale. I thought there's a lot of things they probably could have done, but they didn't. So, and they're never going to hear this, so because they never watch. So, Bev, you've been in this vehicle and you've been driving for some time, and it's hard to really. Hasn't been an hour, but it's been more than 10 minutes, somewhere in between. They haven't been like abusing you the whole time, but you can tell that they have a grip on you. There is one person on either side of you in the back of this vehicle, and then there's the driver out front. One of the people in the back has a knife on you, specifically because you've tried to run once already. Eventually, the car, and they haven't been talking. It's been a very nerve-wracking car ride. Was there anything that you wanted to try to do during the ride?
I think honestly during the ride it would be just a lot of pleading with the simple tie that she knows. So she's just saying, please, please, don't do this, please.
Okay. Give me a tie test. This is less to succeed at convincing them, and this is more to communicate accurately what you're saying.
Yeah. I have a 5 in tie,
Mhm.
and I'm unable to do so. I fail. 49.
Okay. So you're talking, and for the first half of the ride, they just kind of let you go. But then you keep going, and one of them just whoosh, with an elbow, like right into your side, just to like knock the wind out of you. I'm gonna say between like the pulling on the hair, the punch, and like the elbow, take 2 points of damage in total. We'll say for all of this. Okay, but otherwise you're like they haven't fully tried to torture you or anything like that. When you take a look outside the windows, you realize that you have gone from a relatively nice neighborhood where Daniel Lohman seems to live to a much not nicer neighborhood. Like this place just looks like this array of old buildings and warehouses, and you can see these overrun and overgrown courtyards left and right. You can see that there's people on the street, in some cases, beggars or people kind of filling up alleyways. It's definitely a much more downtrodden neighborhood. At one point, you feel the car just go, and you look back and you can see that they just ran over someone or something on the ground, like not even caring, just driving. You look over and you see, like, in some of these alleys, people are like fighting and like sort of ripping like some belongings from a person that's like laying on the ground. And all of this you catch as you're, here and there, like these like quick little pieces. You're not entirely sure where you're at, but you definitely know you're nowhere near your hotel anymore, which was a nice place, and nowhere near Daniel Lohman's anymore, which is, again, a decent neighborhood. Eventually, they pull up to an alley. Give me a spot hidden.
Okay. 78. I'm gonna spend the 14 to pass.
Okay. So you catch a glimpse of something on like a storefront right as they turn down this alley. And it is the same symbol that you remember giving to your professor friend to translate. It's the Fragrant Honey Shop. You see that same phrase show up. And so you have at least now an idea of where you're at. You still don't, you know what district you're in at the very least, because that's information that you all have shared, but the specific address is probably still unfamiliar to you. It's at this point, the car comes to a stop. They park in this dark alleyway right next to the shop itself. There's not like a lot of light on the streets. You can see occasionally in a window here or there's like a lantern glowing, but it's not like there's active street lights or anything like that. It's not like the district within Mexico City where there's like strung lights between these different bohemian apartments, these artist folk and stuff. Very dark. Do you want to do anything as they try to pull you out of the car? I would say you would probably think, you're smart enough to know, this might be your last chance of breaking free.
Yeah. And with that knowledge, she would desperately try her hardest to escape, to break free and just run. Okay.
So what basically happens is the person who's driving the car pulls it into park. They get out and they kind of just like they're out in front. The car doors on either side of you open, and give me a luck test. I'm going to see if you get pulled out towards the one with the knife or pulled out towards the one without the knife.
44.
Okay,
under 45.
The one without the knife. So the other one was holding a knife too. One of them just pulls you out their side. We'll call it, we'll say it's the passenger side because there's only one person on that side versus the two that are getting out on the other side. So you have one person on you. They don't have a knife on you. This is your best chance of getting away, though you have no idea where you're at and how and where to go. So what's your plan here? Like, describe what you're doing, and then we'll figure out a roll.
He's gonna pull out her gun and shoot this person and run.
I would say it's probably likely you don't have
They took
that.
my stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no reason that they wouldn't have probably either taken your stuff and just thrown it somewhere else in the car, or they would have just left it back with Lohman.
Okay.
So more than likely you don't have your bag. You have whatever you would have had on your person. So I'm not sure what you wear. I'm not sure if you have pockets or what.
No, she definitely would have had a purse, so it would have been in the purse.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't have either discarded that or.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you keep it for sure.
Yeah.
But we can't. You know what? Because this is a really dangerous situation, actually. So I'm going to give you a retroactive roll if you wanted to try to sleight of hand keep it from them and hide it from them as you came in. I'll give you a retroactive.
Sleight of hand? I have 10. I'm going to try it. We'll see.
No, it's worth it. The worst case scenario is you don't have it, which is where we just were. But if you get lucky, maybe you did manage to.
Oh, God, please. Oh, that's a hard no. 92.
That's a no. That's a no. Okay. So yeah, they grab that out of your hand at some point and they like toss it into the front of the car so you don't have access to it. Okay, so that is out of the way. So what do you try to do next? What's your next plan?
I think honestly her next plan is to just kind of like clock this person with her shoulder to get them unsteady and then just run away.
All right, this is going to be another contested brawl. That's what it's got to be. Okay, so give it a go.
I'm going to take
two
whatever you need
again. Yep, fair enough. So what do you need to hit?
So I'm shooting for 45.
Okay. All right, it's not impossible.
It is.
Do you have enough luck? I actually failed, but I didn't. But you need a pass. I rolled a 60, which is a fail.
It's a crit fail because it's 77.
No, it's not. That's Delta Green. We do this all the time.
Okay,
That's Delta Green. Yeah.
I have 45 luck.
45 is not enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, so not
you
enough.
You can push it. That's the other option. Is you can push. The problem with pushing, two things. One, it's going to have a more serious fail, meaning you're probably going to get hurt. I'm going to probably give you a wound of some kind. Like you're going to take damage and something bad's going to happen. And you can't use luck on the roll. I'll still let you use like audience dice. That's fine. But you can't use luck to improve it. But you can push. In this case, and you just sort of describe as you try to like shove and push, like you just sort of slightly describe how you do something differently. I'm fine that we're still doing brawl or whatever, but that's the option.
I think that's all I've got to do. So yeah, so I'm gonna try and push it.
Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't give. I just have to click the button
under
and roll
a 45.
again, right?
I think. So you just roll it again. You need to hit 45 or under.
Okay. Oh God. 32.
Bev, you do manage to. So the first time you get out, like your first shot was ineffective. What do you think this? So describe to me. What do you think happens? What's the first shot look like that fails, and what's the second shot that you think
she tries
succeeds?
To get out, and she goes to like try and knock into him, but she herself kind of loses her balance and just bumps into him. And they kind of like reach up to steady her with like grab her with a hand, and she leans down and she bites a chunk out of their forearm. Nice. And then rips away, and she just takes off running. Okay.
We are then going to go into chase rules as you start to run away. Okay. So they have no idea what's happening. Look at them. Losers. Okay. Bev, what is your movement rate?
Oh, God. What is that? Where is that?
It's on your sheet. It's
Move
just
9.
MOB. Okay. So you have 9. All right. So Bev is 9. All right, we're going to do a little chase. You're going to be the pursuer. If you want to look at the primer, I do have a chase section if you wanted to take a look at that. And I need you to roll a con test.
Uh, 17 under 50, hard success.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you want to spend luck to get that to an extreme success? An extreme success on this roll would basically benefit your movement in some ways.
Yeah, I'll spend the 7.
Okay. All right. I have a regular pass. Okay. So basically in chase, that con rolls were determining your speed during the chase sequence. And so success means your speed is equal to your movement rate. But an extreme success means your speed is equal to your movement rate plus 1, which means that you're at a 10 right now. I had a regular success, so it's just their movement rate, which is 8. Okay, so they're a little slower than you. So then what we do is we subtract the lowest participant to get them down to 1. So I have to subtract 7 from them, which means they have a 1, and then I subtract the same number from you. And this determines how many basically movement actions you get. So Bev, every round you're going to have 3 movement actions. Okay. I'm going to. I have to actually roll for the other 2 as well. I forgot. Just 2 more. Okay, one of them fails. So you're actually going to end up with 4 movement actions. 2 of them are going to end up with 2 movement actions, and one of them, who's well in the back, is going to be with 1 movement. With 1 movement action. So that's basically where we're at. So you're at 4. That's how many movement actions you can take in a single round. 2 of them can take 2 movement actions in a round, and 1 of them can only take 1 movement action in a round. Okay, so right now you are in this alleyway. You've just broken free. I'm going to say the 2 people who were in the back of the car with you are going to be the ones with the two actions because they're a little bit closer to you and they're probably a little bit more quicker to move. And then the one who was already walking away, he's going to be a little bit further behind. But definitely you hear them call out. They shout out as you start to bolt and run away. You are going to... Yeah, you're going to... So the chase is going to start with you basically just one spot in front of them. So I'm going to put you... I'll pull you over to the tracker, just you.
Okay.
So that you can follow. It's more fun playing with just you and me. I gotta say, like, it's way better than playing with them, especially Steven, because he's a pain in the ass. Okay, so that's just the regular tracker. Okay. So you're basically one spot ahead of them in the track. Okay. All right. So on your turn, so basically the highest dex is going to get to go first. And so that's going to determine who's going to go first. But you're one spot ahead. They're going to chase after you. You're going to have, assuming you don't get caught, you're going to be able to potentially get away from them. What is your dex score, Bev?
Bev's dex score is 50.
Oh dear, that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so they will probably, you're going to have to dodge at least
twice.
Yeah,
Or
at least
4
twice.
times.
Yeah, because they do get to go first. Okay, you put a little distance. So you hear the shouting behind you, and they charge up. So the first thing is that there's going to be, again, there's 2 that are immediately behind you, and there's one that I'm going to say there's 2 spaces behind you. Like I said, he's a little slower, and he's like the driver. So can you see everything on our tracker there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So first one is going to charge. The one that you just bit is going to be the first one to go. So their first action is they're going to move forward 1 space. So that's one of their 2 actions.
Mm-hmm.
And then their second action is they're going to attempt to tackle you. Basically, they're going to try to grab you immediately. You always get an opportunity to respond when you're challenged in this case. So like you can, you can go ahead and like it's a fighting attack basically. So we're just doing another contested. So you go ahead and roll your brawl or dodge. In this case, you can actually roll dodge too, if that's better for you.
They're the same.
Okay.
So I'll just roll brawl, and I will take 2 more boosts.
Okay. So
Can I take boost on?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
7.
7. Okay. I rolled a 69, which is nice, but also a fail. So you go ahead and you bite this person. They fall like one of their club rattles to the ground. You start darting down this alleyway right into the darkness. You have no idea where the hell you're going. They quickly catch up, dive after you. Maybe as they do, like they kind of trip and they stumble to the ground. And so you've dodged one of them. The second one who got out the other side of you, this one has a knife, is now going to rush after you. First of their movement actions, they get 1 forward, and then they're going to try to stab at you, essentially, and like take you to the ground that way. So now you got to do another one of these.
Okay.
Jesus, these guys suck.
This will
As
be
bad
a
as Will.
dodge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 2 more boosts, so 45 again.
Okay.
51.
Want to spend six luck?
Yeah, I'll spend the 6 luck.
Okay, so you spend 6 luck,
32 left.
and if that's the case, you do dodge out of the way. And then the next one is just going to spend their 2 actions to essentially get up into your space. And now it comes to you. So basically, they're in the same space as you, but you actually have actions still.
Okay.
So you have...
So I had 4 to start.
Yeah.
So what? I have 2 left then?
So basically, you can... So I don't think those count against your actions. I think because I think you always can defend if someone tries to fight you. So I don't think that's a thing. But you basically have 4 things to do. So what you potentially can do is you can move forward in the chase, which means moving forward along the path. You can try to hide. That's another thing you could potentially try to do, or any other kind of action like picking a lock or trying to climb a wall or something like that to a window, or trying to like knock something over in their path, stuff like that.
I think to start, she would do just 4 movement because she recognizes that this isn't a nice neighborhood, and so she doesn't know if people here would sell her out. So she's just trying to go.
Okay, so if you spend the first, and so you just bolt, and the first bit of running you do, the first like space is clear. The alley is open. You know exactly where you're going. When you get to the second space, however, is when you realize the alley narrows in a way that makes it so that you kind of are getting snagged and caught. I need you to roll a check. This is what's called a hazard. Okay. So hazards sometimes happen. And so that's in that next spot.
Okay. Well, what check do you want for this?
That's up to you. You can kind of describe what you think you would do. I would say something like a, what's it called? You could do a dodge. You could do a dex. You could do, it's probably one of those 2.
Yeah. I think I'll try dex this time.
Okay.
33. Okay. Under 50.
So you slip through, and you're able to actually get through to that next spot. And then you said you
kicks off her heels to help make it easier.
Your heels fall behind, and so then you kind of move forward some more, and you realize you're once again in kind of this clear area. So you've put some distance between you and the ones that are chasing you, and they can't move as far. So they, in fact, are slowing down behind you. You can hear that they're kind of getting caught up by where that alleyway narrowed. They're shouting out at you, or maybe they're shouting at other people. Your tie is just not good enough that you don't quite know what they're saying in the heat of the moment. But you continue to run. You hear the sounds of like above you where you can see there's these windows and things. You can hear the sounds of people fighting and screaming. Someone throws a bottle down behind you. You see it kind of explode and glass on the ground. So they've taken their actions. They're essentially stuck in that alleyway right now. So it's your turn again. And so you're getting stuff rained down upon you from above, where you can see some scrawny man is just throwing bottles and things down at you, while there's this big old lantern hanging in the window next to them. You hear the sounds of the 3 guys behind you screaming, yelling at you. So you can. Okay, so the way you can basically do this is the way you can win is one of 2 ways.
Okay.
You can flee and get so far in front of them that they're not going to be able to find you, or you can hide and hope that they don't find you. So it's one of the 2. It's one of those 2 options. So you are definitely outpacing them.
I think she would flee.
Okay, so you're going to continue to run?
Yeah.
Okay. So you continue. You notice that this alley kind of stops and then makes a hard right-hand turn, and you see it goes down a series of stairs. You could tell these stairs are not concrete. They're like crude wooden stairs. And now that you have your shoes kicked off, you're feeling like these splinters and these rusted nails kind of cutting away at the bottom of your feet as you go down. You also notice as you get down to the bottom of the stairs, there's just broken pavement all over the place. You can see like whatever kind of concrete there was has been ruptured. You can see there's chunks of like sewage that are spilling up from below. And I need you to give me some sort of like maybe a jump test, we'll say, to see if you can leap over it, as this is yet another hazard you need to effectively circumvent.
All right, so we are going for jump. I've used 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna take 2 more. So we're shooting for 40.
you're crushing
14.
it. 14. Okay, so you like lean back, maybe you go a couple steps back up the stairs, and you just leap across this disruption in the ground. You land on the other side, stumble for a second. You can feel your feet have been just torn to shreds from the last like 30 feet of running, and then you get one more bit of running, and you're able to make it almost into the clear. You do still hear the sounds of like dogs barking now and chickens like or roosters kind of cawing out into the darkness. You no longer hear the sounds of the bottles being thrown at you. They're going to go, and I need to actually do the same thing that you did, and I need to roll tests to see if they can make it through that hazard. One of them gets stuck, and then he gets stuck a second time. So one of them stays behind, one of them gets through, and then he manages with his second action to get. So he gets through basically this barrier, this hazard, but that's as far as he can go. The next one has to spend both their actions. So two of them get stuck basically, but one of them's still coming, and you can hear the sounds of like one voice behind you again screaming at you. You're pretty sure it's some sort of curse, something terrible. It's your turn to go. Do you just want to keep running?
Yeah, she's just gonna keep running, and she's honestly, she's not gonna go back to the hotel. She's gonna run to Kearns.
Okay, you have this is right now we're still in the chase. This is just you separating from them first. Navigating these streets in the middle of the night is something totally different.
Yeah.
Okay, so you leap across, you run down this alley, you realize like a second flight of stairs, again crudely built, goes up now, and it feels like you're running upstairs, and then you come to what appears to be a dead end. You can see like there is like a wrought iron gate to your left, and beyond it is like a courtyard with some dark trees, and to your right is just this brick building that seems to be decaying. How do you want to try? Do you try to hop over the fence and this wrought iron fence and try to disappear into the courtyard? Do you try to kind of bust through this wall and disappear into the buildings? Which way do you think you go?
She might. I think she would try to get over the fence and just disappear within the trees.
Give me a climb test.
Okay. Again, we're shooting for 40.
Okay, so this was first action, you move forward into this spot. Second action, you're trying to climb over top, basically, and move through.
Yeah. That's an 80.
You climb up and you fall back down. You still have 2 more actions, so you can do this again. You can try this again without pushing or anything. You just try again.
How like close is the thing on the wrought iron fence? Are they like really close, or are they a bit wider?
Oh, you want to try to slip between?
She is small.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do a dex test. One's regular success will get you through, but you would probably cut yourself in doing so because you can tell that the iron has like some spikes and stuff here and there. But you might take some damage. A hard success would get you through without damage. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. 41. Yeah, she'll take the damage.
Take the damage. Okay. 2 more points of damage. You get this horrific scrape on your arm. It kind of tears through some of your dress, but you do manage to get into this this open courtyard with all this different overgrowth. And then finally, give me a hide test. Give me a stealth test.
Okay. All of these are like my worst skills.
You're doing really well. The fact that
but I'm going to take the dice.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, the fact that you're almost away.
Fuck, 82.
Okay. All right. It's okay. We still have another round. They still have to go. So the 2 that are way back by the by that pinch in the alley are going to try to pinch through again. One of them, the first one, gets through finally, and so he'll make it a little bit further in the chase. Then the slow one is still stuck. The driver couldn't make it. Maybe he was just a big
He's
thick dude.
Portly, yeah.
He's a big portly dude. Yeah, he just couldn't quite get it through that pinch of the alleyway. And then the other one, who had already moved out in front, is going to get effectively to the same hazard when you were going down the stairs and the broken ground. And so they're going to attempt a leap test. And with an 82, you don't, obviously Bev doesn't know this, but he essentially stumbles down those and scrapes himself and then kind of goes face planting first across that ruptured ground into the sewage. back to you. You can just take 4. You can go hide if you want.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if I'll say at this point, like you've put so much distance between them. If you just like kind of bolt off, I would say if you want to put all 4 of yours into just running, that's fine too. It means you don't know where the hell you are, but you could probably get away at this point. You're so far ahead of them, and they've been stuck behind you.
I think that's what she would do, especially with the adrenaline.
Okay.
She would just go get lost, and then that's a problem for later.
I like to think like, Bev, you're looking for a hiding place, where to go. And then finally you see, well, screw it. There's a freaking gate right there. And you just bolt into the gate and out into the darkness. And that's the last we see of Bev for now. And we'll check back in with you later. All right. We need to bring these suckers back in. Don't say what happened to you. No one knows what happened to you. Okay. All right. So I'm motioning for them to come back. Okay.
Is she dead?
Hey guys.
I will not tell you what has transpired. But
Ashley,
boy,
you can tell us.
I did not expect that much blood. Genuinely.
Yeah.
A lot. We're going to have to change the rating on this episode. Okay. So, last we left you guys, middle of the night, midnight, whatever it might be. You guys were talking about what to do next, and you've decided to hire a car to take you to this district.
Yeah.
Is that the decision?
House.
Okay. It takes a little while to get there, but eventually you do find yourselves in this very horrible, kind of dark neighborhood where the buildings are on top of buildings. Like some of them are just like kind of hodgepodge patchwork places. Like it just doesn't have the kind of clarity of architecture that you've seen in the places where you've stayed and the places where you were looking at Loman. It definitely looks like there's some buildings that have collapsed and then have been makeshift repaired in the process. You can see there's alleyways that just sort of disappear into the darkness. You can see like the road that you're on, that your driver is taking you on, just stops at one point. It's just a dead end out of nowhere, and the pavement just ends, and they kind of have to backtrack and go back around a bit. And all the while, like you're seeing fewer and fewer and fewer people who are like out on the streets. You can see occasionally lanterns and things like that in the windows, but you're definitely getting kind of a quiet feel at this point in the night. Everything just kind of starts to give you a little bit of a sort of a nervous vibe. More than once, you look down an alleyway and you see fights breaking out. Like you can literally see someone getting mugged. You're pretty sure at one point someone might have just gotten knifed. And you also notice like there's this one point where you see like racing across the street. You just see like a rooster just running across the street, and a man is chasing after it with this big old machete. And then like the rooster like hops on top of a what looks to be like some kind of dumpster, big garbage can, and then it kind of escapes some more. But then right as it tries to run back across the street, you see it the opposite direction that your car is coming. This big kind of panel van just smashes through it, and you just see feathers and blood just erupt. And there's a little tiny fleck of it that comes onto your windshield. Your driver's like, whoa, and you swerve around a little bit, and you nearly kind of get driven right into the side of a building. And you can tell the driver's not particularly happy. At this time of night, you have a local driver, sort of a kind of an older Siamese woman who turns around and she says in not the greatest English in the world, but again, far better than your Thai, "Are you sure you want to be here, especially at this time of night? This is not a good place."
I could say that. Sorry for having you take us out here, but you have somewhere to be.
You have somewhere to be?
Yes, that fragrant shop. If we see it, we don't want to linger in the streets.
Which one of you is the fighter?
We look
What's
at
a
Shima.
wrestler.
You're going to let her into the fight? She's just a baby.
What fights are we talking about here?
And she sort of looks a little taken aback. You want to come out here in the middle of the night and you ask for this place and you don't know why you're going?
We were told it was a surprise. Someone told us to meet them there.
I've said too much. But this is where they have the death fights.
Oh. Okay. Well, we do still have to meet them there, but we will be very careful when we go. Thank you.
She just says something under her breath in Thai, shakes her head. And you've gotten that look before. You don't need to know the language to know what she probably just said about you. And she turns back around. A few minutes later, she pulls up into this alleyway. And you don't see many cars. And then she just says, "This is as far as I go. 1 block that way. Go left. You'll see it." And then she kind of reaches up to the inside of her windshield and she draws a symbol, like in sort of the fog, like the fogginess of the windshield. "Look for that.
Thank you. We'll be on our way.
Pay,
Of course.
because you might not come back."
And don't feel the need to wait.
I wasn't going to. This is a bad place. So, Pay, the 4 of you get out. Do you follow her instructions to a T, or do you do something a little different?
No, I think I'd start looking for the symbol she drew.
You try not to
Okay.
hang on the streets for too long. Who knows what happens
Yeah.
out here?
Okay.
Stick to the shadows as much as we can. I'm not like trying to stealth the whole way there, but not going in the middle of the alley or street or whatever.
You head
That's where
down
you
the
get hit by
street.
a van.
You head down the street, and eventually you do find the symbol that she's drawn. And Patrick, you would know the symbol as well because you have seen it drawn on the crumpled document that you took from the pocket of the man that you and Johnny killed in the Bohemian Flophouse back in LA. So you would have seen it, and you know that Bev at some point, I'm sure, shared with you, obviously, since you guys know the name of it and what it means. And so you see it. It certainly looks like a legitimate storefront, albeit in a less than reputable neighborhood, but it certainly looks the part. It also isn't very illuminated. You're not sure, like there's a lantern you can see on through the glass. There seems to be a front door and a side door. There are 1 or 2 people that are kind of lingering about in the darkness. You can see like they're kind of eyeing you as you walk past a bit. I think one of them you can see has got like a crude shiv out and it's just kind of cleaning their teeth with it. What do the 4 of you do?
Walk up to the front door.
Yeah, looking for any sort of doorman that's guarding the place.
Okay. There is someone by the side door, but there's no one by the front door.
Side
And
door.
when you go to the front door and you try to open the front door, it's locked. And you can tell at this time of night, a tea shop isn't going to be open. Patrick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Patrick, I wanted the doorman.
Okay. So you go over and you can see that there is a tall, muscular, but also very wounded looking individual. You can see scars, some old, some new. Definitely what looks like kind of a crooked or broken nose at some point in the past, and a handful of like teeth missing. And it's making it much easier to kind of clean their teeth out. And is just kind of looking at you as if awaiting something.
We've come to join the Circle of Exodus.
Okay. So, okay. So do you repeat it basically, the entrance detail as you go up basically?
Yeah, as we know,
the
no
idea?
more than that.
Okay. I'm trying to get the full phrase.
I have come to join the circle of excess.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So he looks at the two of you. Actually, the four of you, because there's all four of you. And he nods. And then he opens the door, but he doesn't let you in yet. He calls into the side door of the tea shop and then closes the door and waits and stares at you guys. Just like this, as if he's sort of assessing you. He looks at you, Sawyer. He looks at you, Patrick. He looks at Marie, and you can see he's fairly skeptical of Marie. He looks at Shima, and you can see like the appraisal is a little bit more positive when looking at Shima. Eventually, as you guys are waiting, a couple minutes pass, and then you hear a thump thump on the door. And the side door to the tea shop opens, and you can see that there's these two relatively short, stout Siamese men. They exchange something. They exchange a couple words, and it's all in Thai. And since none of you speak Thai, you have no idea what they say to each other. And then the door guy says, "Go with them."
I head that
I'll
way.
follow.
Okay. So, welcome back, Melissa. You four have just been let into the interior of the Fragrant Honey Shop.
Which apparently is a
Okay.
fight club where people fight to the death.
Oh dear.
They give a passcode that you guys got from the notes
Just
and
what
things.
the driver said. I'm sure she hasn't actually been there, so she's probably just exaggerating. Like it's got a reputation or something. It's probably not that bad.
She was missing like 7 fingers when she flicked you off.
The middle finger is the only one that she had left.
Okay. So you are led through this tea shop, which, as you look at it, it is very much a tea shop. It looks like a legitimate business. You can get the waft of various teas and herbs in here. You see a door in the back is opened. One of the men who has led you back here is in front of you. One stays behind you. And they lead you in sort of this back area, this like storage area for the Fragrant Honey Shop. Then it's not very large, and you can see there's various shelves and stacks of different shipments and stuff. But again, there's that fragrant. It does smell very much like a tea shop might smell. Then they find another door. And this one they open, and you can see this one is a little bit smaller. And so anyone who's tall, so Shima probably has to duck a little bit underneath it. And you can tell that it seems like it was added late. And then you realize you're outside again, except this time you don't really see any signs of the street. Instead, you're in some weird little nexus of like 4 different buildings. You see stairs going down, and they lead you down the stairs, and they're going to wave. And then about halfway down the stairs, they stop, the one in front of you, and turns to what appears to be like this crack in the wall of one of the buildings, and sort of steps through it, squeezes a bit, motions for you to come. And then you see that you're in this old warehouse of some kind. You can see some of the pillars and beams have cracked. You can see the ceiling has cracked through in places. There's debris everywhere. It definitely smells like feces in here. You see scattered bits of animals that just kind of dart off into the corner, the dark corners. And then they basically lead you up this crumbled stair until you get to the second level, where the ceiling kind of has been collapsed. All the while, he comes to every stop and he motions and runs, and whoever's in the back, you feel kind of a poke from the one who's behind you. And then you find yourself going across what looks like this wooden bridge that connects the second level of this building to the second level of the next building, except it's coming out of this window in your warehouse to another window in this other building that looks more like a tenement house. And when you land on the other side, there's just sort of mold and dirt and grime everywhere, and it looks like you're in a bedroom, even though the furniture here has long been in disuse. You can see a kind of a broken like sleeping pad off to the side that smells horrible. They open another door, and he steps through, kind of waves you into this hallway, and you realize like you're in an apartment complex now, like you're in an apartment basically. And he kind of leads you down the hall until you hit another set of stairs. And the set of stairs takes you up 2 more flights. And he kind of waves you down. You go down yet another hall. It's like you're backtracking the way you just came. He counts all these different doors you pass until he comes to one, and you can see he reaches out, opens, pushes the door open. And again, you see this, well, you see like the wall is just missing. And there's another, what appears to be like a ladder, a wooden ladder leaned against the side of this building, and you can see it's barely poking up into the hole of this wall, and he starts climbing down it. And he kind of motions from the bottom of the ladder to get you all to start climbing. He goes to now you're in like another alleyway, and you see a building there. It looks nothing like any of the buildings you've seen before. And he just starts walking down the alley, motioning you like every 5 steps, kind of turning this way. You guys talking or doing anything in this time?
Trying to keep track as best I can of the twists and turns we're taking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Patrick or Marie, any of you saying anything or doing anything in this process?
Just taking note what we see. Small comments of observations made.
Okay. Marie?
Marie is trying to, kind of similar to Will, kind of try to keep track of kind of where they're turning. She may try to see if she can have anything like actually put in chat, like kind of like having like lipstick out and trying to like make little marks on the wall kind of as we're going to try to help if we were kind of trying to find our way back out of here.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So you walk down this hall, which eventually you can see this alley, which eventually leads upwards until you realize you're in this courtyard. And the courtyard seems to be this nexus of these angular buildings, each of a different height, one of which seems to have like a second building built on top of it. And there's like a lean-to that seems to break where this alleyway is. And he motions you, and he pushes open this rusted gate, goes out this gate, and immediately turns left and opens another door into one of these crooked angular buildings, goes inside, goes up a set of stairs, goes down the hall, whole time waving, finds another ladder that just seems to go down into the middle of a first floor, climbs down that ladder. Then you can see he starts leading you across this open floor, concrete, but then wooden like plywood of some kind over top of it. It's all clink along the way. You haven't seen anyone this whole time. You don't see anybody. You don't see anyone living in these buildings. You don't see anybody sleeping in these buildings. You've seen a couple of animals here and there, but you don't see people. You get to the other side of this building. He opens a door, and this time you can tell you should be outside, but instead it looks like there's been this makeshift tunnel that has been built, and so you can't actually see the stars. You can see the exterior of the building. It's just this makeshift tunnel, and the whole way, all of you, anybody over like 5'6" is kind of ducking. Even the guy out front is a little bit hunched as you're moving, and he gets to the far end, and he opens that door. And like you look around and you realize you're in some other kind of warehouse. It almost smells like water damage in here, and you see things dripping left and right. And he takes you to the other side of this building. This continues literally for the next 15 minutes. At some point you lose track of the amount of different buildings and doors, and you open, and you've been marking as best you can. At no point do you ever like come back around to a place that looks familiar again.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
And at no point do you see anybody else. Eventually you feel yourselves first going down a set of stairs, and then he opens almost like a hurricane shelter kind of, or a tornado shelter set of doors. He pushes those wide. Had to pull like a chain off of it first. and you descend down into darkness. He grabs a lantern, and before you go down the stairs, you hear, and suddenly it illuminates in this orange glow, and you see these broken wooden stairs just motioning you down. And when you go down those, you feel yourselves splash a little as your feet hit this little thin film of water, and the stench here is unreal. See, around you, there's like brick, these large stones, kind of takes you to the end of this corridor, and then you start to descend down once more, this set of like stone stairs, and everything's dark, everything's wet, mildew, growth. You can see maybe a dead rat or 10 somewhere here or there as you go. And eventually it dawns on you, you think you're in the sewer. You see this long passageway that he seems to be leading you down, and it's winding, it's circuitous, and then you start to finally hear voices. You realize that there are these little alcoves and rooms. You look off to one side, and it looks like there is a large chamber with like a door half open. There's lantern or candle light that seems to be drifting out from it. You hear the sounds of voices. You hear the sounds of work being done, like things getting shuffled around. Maybe you see a glimpse of a person or two. And then he leads you to a section of this twisting hallway where you can see there's dozens of these small rooms that seem to be attached to it. Some have these almost like grate or gate-like doors. Some of them have what look to be like wooden doors. And you realize that you're no longer just the two of them. There's other people around here who are starting to come out from the shadows at this point. And you hear the sounds vaguely of the sound of like cheering muted somewhere above you. And he comes up. Who are the two that are in front? So Sawyer.
As well.
Okay. So Patrick and Sawyer and Will. I'm sorry, Patrick and Will. The guy comes up and he pulls this metal, it doesn't even look like a door. It just looks like a repurposed, grate. It's maybe can fit like a couple fingers through. He pulls it open and he points inside. And like there's this horrific stench that comes out of it, but it's this dark space.
Go in.
So Patrick's
Patrick's
goes in.
going, I'm going.
And then he pulls the door shut behind you, and then he lifts up this heavy, like thick wooden beam and slams it shut on the outside. Goes across the hall, like right across the way, and opens up what looks like this wooden door. But again, it's makeshift. It's pieced together with these different slats. And he pulls that open, and he points at Marie and Shima, and he's, and Shima's looking at you, Marie. And you realize the guys are in a different room. And now that you look around, you are no longer just being led by these two people. You can see there's others around here that you can tell, much like some of the others you've seen, scars, wounds, blood. You hear the sounds of cheering up. You hear the sounds of and you see walking down this sort of set of stairs down the hall. There's another one of these small, kind of like shorter, stockier Siamese men that's leading what appears to be a man who is, you can't tell, you're pretty sure he's not Siamese, but you're definitely sure he's not like Caucasian, right? But he's covered in grime and blood, and you can see his arm is just hanging limply, and one of the bones has been just punctured through the forearm, and it's just hanging there, and he's just walking along with it. And he looks at you, and he like lunges, but before he can get to you, the guy who is escorting him takes this like bamboo stick and just smacks him right in the leg. You hear this loud crack, like a crunch of bone. The man falls down, tries to brace himself instinctually with his arms, but his arm's already broken, and then you hear that crack just even more. And he doesn't even scream out in pain. and he's just a few feet in front of you. And he pushes himself up with his other arm, and you can see at this point, everything from just below the elbow to the hand is hanging on by like a tendon or two. You've got bone shards all over the place. Doesn't even seem to faze him. And then there's an exchange where the man who's been escorting him says something in Thai. And then sort of with the stick leads him over to another one of these doors, just like Will and Patrick were let into, and opens it up and just kind of pokes him. He tries to reach out and grab like that poking bamboo stick, but then a second one of these people runs up and just kind of stabs him right in the ass with what looks like some kind of blade. And he just continues to try to pull on this bamboo stick. And so the one who just stabbed him just starts to twist the knife and twist it and twist it and twist it. And at no point does the pain seem to bother him. Finally, two more come over and they just start to shove him physically in and slam a door behind him. They do the same thing they did with Will, and they pick up this beam and slot it in. And then they turn back and they see that you two are still out in the hall, you and Shima. And like everything's been kind of paused for a moment as this craziness transpires. And then he yells. He yells. And the guy who's been escorting you like starts poking into this dark chamber that he's opened the door for you. What do you do, Murray?
It's Marie goes in.
Okay. Shima will follow because Shima's with you. And then he closes the door. And you hear thump as once more a beam is lifted and is put in place. Will and Patrick, you look around and you were able to see some of that exchange outside because you have there's like a grate. Again, you could put maybe 2-3 fingers through the grate, but otherwise it's like this thick, nasty metal. And as I said before, there's this horrific stench inside here. And when you look around, do either of you have like a lighter or anything like that?
I do not.
I mean, if you're a smoker, you would carry a lighter with you.
I think it would make sense that Will would have one.
I have cigars. I forgot, so I would have one.
Okay, so you hold it up, and you see the cause for the stench. You see a mangled corpse in the corner of this cell that you are in that is probably 5 feet deep by about 4 feet wide. The ceiling is maybe 7 feet above your head. And there is this mangled corpse. And as you light up your lighter, you can see this scatter of about 6 or 7 rats that just go in different directions. And a few of them you can see dig down into the small crack. 1 or 2 of them don't seem at all phased, and they just continue to gnaw away at the corpse. Both of you roll sand.
Yeah, Patrick, you go ahead and have that side. I'll take the other corner.
What the hell have we gotten ourselves into?
It's a great question.
Extreme success. 6 under 49.
You're okay.
I failed.
All right, 1 point of sand loss. It's just a really violent and just disgusting. There's something supernatural about it. It just looks hideous. The conditions are terrible. Marie and Shima, you don't see a corpse in yours, but you definitely, as you're looking around, you can see what looks like body parts. A hand here, a foot there. You're pretty sure that's a tongue. And it's all like half rotten, half eaten. And right as like Shima's like in the corner and about to say something, the door opens up and the light comes in, and you can see it's the guard kind of looking around. Yeah. And he kind of motions for you to get back against the wall, and they got like their sticks out, and you can see they're sharpened. And he's kind of pointing. And he comes in and he picks up these chunks of this meat, this flesh, and just picks them up and puts them in this like wicker basket, and then leaves. Door closes behind them, and you hear once more the beam comes down. What are you guys doing?
Marie's probably losing her shit right about now, because this is not what she wanted to do. She wanted to get the authorities and get help, and like, so finding that this is where we are, like, she is probably pretty like hysterical at this point. Like, this is like, we've been in some dangerous situations before, but this is beyond where we've been. So she's definitely like just can't lean anywhere, can't step anywhere. Just, you just see kind of that wide eye, just like looking all around, just stepping all, just this is not the. How do I think this was going to be helpful? None of us can find her if we're.
And then like Shaima, like her face, like, Dr. Key, Dr. Key. She just shouts like really loud, and Will and Patrick, you can hear it. And she just keeps shouting, Dr. Key, Dr. Key. And there's no response.
I she's not here. Do you think she was brought here? Are you two okay over there?
She must have been. And you can hear each other. You're not that far. You're across this twisting hall. Like, you're a little bit off kilter from one another, but you're relatively across the hall from each other.
Yeah, we're all right. You in a room too?
You can call it that.
Not quite as nice as the hotel.
This is awful. This is how I completely lost track of how we could possibly get out of. We didn't.
Is this
what are we
room?
Gonna do?
Is this the only door out?
There's only one door. You are in a cell.
A cell. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 5 by about 4 wide by about 7 high. And outside,
did they pat us down?
Nope.
I'll investigate how they locked us in.
Yeah, you can see that there's no locking mechanism. It's like a bar on the other side. So they just put this beam across so you can't push it open, and you can't pull it open because the grate is too large to get pulled through the hole in the wall.
I have a bayonet that I use instead of a knife. You said that there's like a 2-inch hole in the grate here and there.
Yeah, like each of the grates, like think of it like a grated bit of metal, and you probably got the width of maybe like 2 or 3 fingers, depending on the size of your fingers.
I would like to try and work the bayonet to try and just slowly lift up the beam using leverage, if possible.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would take a little time, but you're going in and trying to move it, and then like grab it, and then grab it,
exactly.
And then grab it. Yeah, I get what you're doing. Patrick, are you doing anything?
I'll further take a closer look at what's in the cell. If there's anything else around we missed.
Dead body, grime, feces, you think, in the corner, sludge, rats. Looks like some spiders maybe on the ceiling skittering about, spider webs as well.
Maybe any way to see how this guy died or person died?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me maybe a medicine or a first aid or something like that.
I'll go with first aid. 31. Yes.
31's very good. He has an abundance of stab wounds and bite wounds. You can tell that he has got, like, the body itself. It's not been dead for that long. You would guess, like, as you touch it, it's not fully cold. You can imagine they died probably within the last day, maybe. And there's like at least a dozen stab wounds, claw marks. Like, you can see like these scrapes here and there, broken teeth, broken bones. Like, he has just been like savaged in this horrific way. Blood everywhere. Like, it could have been any of these wounds could have potentially killed him. Obviously, there's one by his chest that looks notably bad. But you also can tell he's been bitten several times.
Not sure what done this guy in, but he's been chewed at.
Continue to try to do it. Try to move the bar.
That's good to know, Patrick. Thank you. At least we have a food source. And I look at the rats.
I need all of you that are in these cages to roll a luck test. The number matters more, well, just as much as the what you roll. I'll roll for Shaima.
Do crit fails work for a luck test? Because that's what I did.
It's going to be very important. Can anyone
98.
beat a 98?
Buddy. I did well. I got an 18 under 70.
Okay. Marie, how'd you do?
33.
Okay, you're fine. Okay. I failed, but I rolled a 59, and that's not nearly as bad as the critical fail that Patrick has gotten.
Am I crit fine? Does that work with luck?
No, Delta. Ashley did this earlier. Doubles or Delta green crits.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm desperate.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Poor Melissa,
Well-
she got bullied into this.
Well, you've managed to get the bar up like a good 7-8 inches. Like it's about 3/4 of the way up. But then you suddenly hear and as someone's yelling and screaming at you, and they start smashing on the gate. And then they grab the bar and they rip it off. And they pull the door open. And you can see at this point, there's like 5 of these guys. Each of them have like machetes or something like that. And they're like motioning at you to get back against the wall, get back against the wall, get back against the wall. Like, pointing pointing again. What do you do, Will?
I don't want to drop the bayonet, but I will back up and I'll put the bayonet back in my sheath and then just back up to the wall.
Okay. 2 of them come in, and Patrick, you're sitting there like examining the body, like looking and looking. You feel a hand on the back of your collar, and it starts to drag you across the ground. And like the other one that came into the cell has got the machete right out at you, Will. Like if you like even take a step forward, like you're pretty sure that machete's going through your throat. And you see Patrick just get dragged out of the cell. And then there's a few of these other folks that were outside the door who like each of them get on either side of Patrick and just help kind of drag at this point. So now there's like multiple bodies. And then the one that's got the machete on you, Will, slowly backs out, watching you the whole time. And then you can see the door closes again.
Hey, we came in together. We're partners.
See you inside.
And then they slam the door shut. And then they put the bar down. Marie and Shaima, I would say you have a wooden door, so you can't see everything, but you can hear some of this. And Patrick, you're just getting manhandled as you're getting pushed down the hall and down the hall and down the hall. You open the door to a different room. Light floods at you. They push you inside. And that's where we're going to end for tonight. We'll pick up on that next time.
Whose stupid idea was this?
What? Not Marie's. I will say on repeat.
Whoever
This is
decided to
not
do this is a
Marie's.
fucking idiot.
No, this is good.
This is great. So
This
it's
is fun.
Patrick.
This is a
Patrick
lot
got
of fun.
shouldered. Okay. I mean,
Oh gosh.
Don't worry,
All right.
Patrick. I'm coming for
Patrick.
you. I got my bayonet. I'll get
Uh-huh.
that bar up.
yep. You're going to be fine.
Oh, this is so bad. This
Yeah,
is
it's
so
really bad. It's really
I
bad.
said in chat, yeah, going to the embassy in the morning was such a bad idea. Oh no, such a.
It's not as
such a
bad as what
bad
happened to
thing
Bev,
do.
though. So
Yeah,
we'll
she
put it that
died.
way.
Right?
We will reserve the reveal of Bev's fate until next time when you guys would actually know it. So we got to warn Maitreya
I can't
not
watch
to
the
listen to
video.
the part with Maitreya. Nope.
Okay.
Oh,
Nope. You got to keep that part. You got to skip over that part.
Oh, we shouldn't watch
You
it.
can
Like-
just DM me
like,
later. Tell
I
me
want to
what's
watch
up.
the part that I was supposed to be part of. I was AFK, but I'm not
You
going to know
left-
when that starts.
You left the table. You left the table.
Ah.
You really only
Anyhow.
missed like 5 minutes when you were
Yeah, you
able
didn't so
to.
much.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be this is gonna be
Dear.
interesting. This is the way to do it.
Dear.
This is definitely Melissa, remember earlier today when I said based
Yeah,
upon the choices
uh-huh.
that you guys make, you
Uh-huh.
could radically accelerate. You guys
Uh-huh.
have radically accelerated Bangkok. Like radically. Like the fact that this is where we're at already is pretty significant. So
Have we been slept here? Have we been laid our heads
No.
down on the pillow?
no,
here?
this is a record.
No.
Less than
Your
24
first
hours.
night- Your first night in Mexico City, you guys went out. Marie had that weird tongue thing that you guys
Mhm,
saw.
mhm,
Then you found the
mhm.
dead bodies inside of like a neighboring building from the
Apartment.
club. And then you ran off into the night. Now, you didn't at least get captured or anything like that. You all went in different directions. You eventually all made it back to the hotel. This is worse than that. So
So
This
much
is
worse.
So much worse.
So much worse.
it's
This
awesome.
is so
I'm
much
excited.
worse.
I'm excited
I
for
was
this.
like, cool. Patrick's on board. We're going to go to the embassy in the morning. Like, this is fine.
I feel like we
This
got
is
the
not
code word
fine.
wrong. Like we said, I'm here to
This is
join
fine.
the circle. Maybe we should have said watch the circle.
It's just
No, we
Like,
got
how do you get to the audience section? Because that's where we wanted to be.
You definitely used the code word that you knew of.
We used
You
the code
definitely-
word we knew of.
You have a code word in your notes from the Trammell's Testament and stuff like that, where if you read the passage, which I'm not sure if you guys did, it says you should come and participate in our fights. Here is the code word, and so that is the code word that you delivered. So you've done everything according to what you know.
I can't believe Trammell would lead us wrong. He seemed like such a stand-up guy.
He didn't even lead you wrong. You're doing exactly you're doing exactly the notes that you had, and you were working with the information you had. You thought this might be where Bev is.
It was our only other location we knew.
So you guys really don't know what happened to Bev. You guys weren't cheating or anything?
No idea.
Okay.
Chat didn't really
Chat,
spoil it, but
Yeah, they were good.
it
Yeah.
gave me an inkling.
Yeah. It was dangerous.
Yeah,
It was definitely
yeah.
dangerous what's
It
going on.
was.
And she's not out of it. She is not out of danger. I will tell you that at least, but I won't say specifically what happened. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's do some plugs. Let's get on out of here. And we'll pick up next time. And we'll have Maitre with us. And so she can look at you guys and be like, why is my character in prison voluntarily? Why did you voluntarily bring him into a
To
prison?
be fair, if she would have heard about the Fight Club, she would have been hell yes, let's go.
I know. I figured like this was going to be like the Shima chapter because like when she was asking about that in Mexico City, I'm like, just wait till Bangkok. I was like, I didn't want to say that, but I'm like, just wait till Bangkok. It'll be fine.
Right.
I don't know if you want to participate in these fights though.
Yeah.
These
They're
are
okay.
great fights. These are great fights. All right. Maitre is not here to make our joke with Steven, so instead I'm just going to throw it over to Steven. Steven, tell us a little about what you've been doing, man.
I've been working on a tabletop RPG called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West game. Beautiful art, beautiful graphic design. Look how pretty that is. It's an amazing book, if I do say so myself. And we have a big update coming. In just about a week or so, we're going to be having a Halloween update that's going to give you a whole bunch of new content. So you should definitely check it out. Everyone who has the PDF now will receive the update. So there's no reason not to grab it now, get familiar with it, and then see what kind of stuff comes in the mail. So super exciting stuff.
Yeah, awesome, man. I am very excited. Is it the thing that is in the release that I was doing the thing for? I don't know what I'm supposed to say, so I'm just being. Is there
you can say whatever you want. It's fine.
Is it the thing that I edited that you've been showing me?
That plus a little bit extra.
Ooh.
Just a tiny bit extra. Just a tiny bit.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are going to love it. It's great. Okay. As for Maitre stuff, you want to check out Maitre. Maitre plays games. She does all sorts of different videos that center the GM and player experience, system agnostic, where she talks all about tabletop role-playing games and such. I think we hit the keywords again. Link is in the chat, or link is in the description. Link is in the chat, all that kind of stuff. So take a look at that. Go give her a follow. Go give her a sub and see all the awesome stuff that she does. And then as for us, our next game is Monday, where our buddy Chuck, who's got a Kickstarter going on right now for Skin City, he's going to be running a little one shot, showing us what that game's all about. See if it's something you might want to back. Tuesday, you're going to see Steven hop back into the GMC as we get to Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition, and we do some stuff with fried eggs. Kipster and I think we're pretty cool. We're pretty safe where we're at. We think the rest of them are kind of screwed, but that's because I got that level 2 force field up, and so we're pretty safe. I think we're pretty safe.
Yeah. And there's no
safe.
problems with engineering or power or anything like that. We've already established that.
Well, we fixed everything, so everything's fine.
And nothing can go wrong again.
Everything's fine. We repaired everything. You don't want to be redundant and have the exact same thing happen.
You're perfectly safe. There will be nothing that goes wrong.
I guess we'll just every location we go to, there's just going to be a mafia casino ship that we go on. Oh, hey, we're on another mafia casino
There's
ship.
just going to be like a sewer fight club.
Have we done a sewer fight club yet? Have we done a sewer fight club yet? No, we haven't. This is the first time, so I'm avoiding redundancy.
Star Trek's going to have a sewer fight club.
There probably is. I mean, we're just going to Tasha Yar's planet.
Yeah.
There's a was that one really bad one in the first season? Well, a lot of them the first season where she had to do the fights. I always remember that one. Oh God. Anyhow, I can't remember the name of it. I try to forget first season. They're not the greatest. Okay, what else we got? And then next Thursday, Arzium. We're continuing that. And next Friday, Dragonbane. And then we'll see what happens with more Call of Cthulhu. Thank you to some raids. We had a couple of raids tonight.
Infinite Monkey Tales and
Infinite Monkey Tales and Manhattan. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Make sure you go give them a follow. We are going to pay it forward. We're going to raid Demon X, who is doing some Cyberpunk Red. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your night and weekend. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.